We are living through the twilight of an era, not the end of the world, but the decline of an illusion. The illusion that we are alone. The illusion that power lies only in force, secrecy, and control. The illusion that the history of humanity begins and ends here, on this small blue planet. At first glance, the world seems increasingly dark, opaque governments, old conflicts, profound inequalities. But this is not the collapse of hope. It is the inevitable noise of a structure that is resisting its own dismantling. And in this tenuous interval between what no longer serves and what has not yet been born, something silent, constant, and intentional is happening. Something that few name, but all feel. It is the time of choice. This time is not passive. It is not a wait for a savior. It is a living, tense field where two currents coexist. The current of concealment, noisy, dramatic, familiar. It feeds on fear. It dominates the headlines. And the revealed, discreet, almost imperceptible. It's in the advances in medicine that promise to liberate bodies from suffering, in the parliamentary hearings that, for the first time in centuries, dare to speak of the inexplicable without ridicule. In the moments when a scientist, without understanding where the idea came from, adjusts an experiment with almost impossible precision. These are not accidents. They are intentional cracks in the wall. Cracks through which light is already entering, not to blind, but to allow the eyes to slowly adjust to the truth. And this silent work is not manipulation. It is a protocol of respect. There are intelligences beyond Earth that observe, that inspire, that facilitate, but never impose. They don't want disciples, they want conscious partners. Therefore, their influence is subtle. It doesn't invade laboratories, but suggests a question in a researcher's sleep. It doesn't write scripts, but echoes an image in a dream that years later a filmmaker transforms into a scene. It doesn't dictate laws, but it can cause a parliamentarian, after a seemingly casual conversation, to change their mind about what is worthy of investigation. This doesn't diminish human merit. On the contrary, it exalts it. What emerges is always co-created, a cosmic seed that only germinates if it finds fertile ground in human consciousness. Even our modern myths, stories of luminous ships, of messengers from the stars, are not just imagination. They are emotional rehearsals, collective dreams training the soul of humanity to one day endure reality. And an example of this preparation is now crossing the sky. They call it Atlas. The third interstellar object recognized by science, but it is not just ice, dust, and an anomalous trajectory. It is a silent master, a teacher who doesn't speak but observes, and who, by his very presence, compels humanity to do something revolutionary, to get used to the strange, every telescope pointed at it, every article published, every debate on social media is not just science. It's an exercise in expansion. We are being trained, without knowing it, to normalize the extraordinary. And there is, in fact, a technology coupled to it, not to interfere, to record how we react, how we doubt, how we research, how we speculate, how we fear. Because the most important data is not the composition of the comet, it's the maturity of the species that observes it. Atlas didn't come to be deciphered. It came so that, in trying to decipher it, we might decipher ourselves. And when the direct, open, inevitable encounter finally occurs, it won't be like in the movies. The world won't stop in a moment of unanimity. There won't be immediate peace in the Middle East. There won't be a global conversion to universal love. There will be instead a wave of reactions, as diverse as humanity is complex. Some will see liberation, others an existential threat. Governments may tighten control, fearing the loss of their monopoly on the narrative. Religions will face profound crises. News channels will divide the same fact, tragedy for some, miracle for others. This is not a failure. It is necessary. The cosmic truth is so vast that it can only be absorbed in layers, through conflict, mourning the old identity, internal negotiation. Only when all voices are heard, including those of fear and resistance, can a new equilibrium emerge. Stability will not come in months, it will come in decades. By around 2050 perhaps, the initial shock will have given way to a new normal. Not perfect, but conscious. And those who insist on living in denial will not be punished. They will simply be left behind, like those who refuse to board a ship heading for deeper waters, preferring the illusory safety of a beach that is already drowning. This transition is not new. It has already been experienced and kept alive by ancient wisdoms. While Western civilization built empires on the idea of separation, indigenous peoples on all continents preserved a direct memory that they came from the stars, that they are related to the people of the sky, that the earth is a living being, not a resource. For them, there will be no first contact. There will be a reunion. What we call the future is already the past for others. The delay is not in technology. It is in memory. Open contact will not be a cosmic novelty. It will be a planetary restoration, the moment when all of humanity will finally be able to name what some have never forgotten. And in this process, nothing will be forced. No one will be taken aboard against their will. No one will be forced to believe, to love, to trust. The offer is open, but everyone's time is inviolable. There is dignity even in refusal, because choosing fear is still an act of sovereignty. What changes irrevocably is that the illusion of solitude dissolves, and that, in itself, transforms everything. For when you know you are not alone in the universe, the power of a tyrant diminishes, the urgency of war loses its meaning, greed reveals itself as a disguised emptiness. Science ceases to be merely a tool of domination and becomes a bridge of understanding. Spirituality ceases to seek a distant God and begins to recognize divinity as a living, interconnected, expanding network. Some ask, how can I contribute? The answer is not in grandeur, it is in faithfulness. Those who study true history contribute, not to elevate themselves, but to heal collective wounds. Those who teach with patience contribute, not expecting conversion, but offering clarity. Those who research ethically contribute, knowing that all knowledge is a vote of confidence from the cosmos. Those who simply bear witness contribute, without panic, without fanaticism. For the greatest service in this time is to keep the space open for choice to exist. This is not a time for waiting. It is a time for active preparation, not to receive something from the outside, but to recognize what is already within and all around. For a long time, the universe isn't coming to us. It's revealing itself through us. Every act of courage, of curiosity, of compassion, of truth is a step in that revelation. The structures of control still roar, yes, but their sound isn't one of strength. It's one of something crumbling. The light is already here. It's already working. It's already waiting, not for perfection, but for recognition. They didn't come to be followed. They came so that you finally can choose with open eyes, an alert heart, a free mind, whether you want to continue as you are or whether you are ready to remember who you always were. The choice isn't between them and us. It's between fear and memory, between isolation and belonging, between the end of a dream and the beginning of an era, the time for choosing has already begun, and the silence now is full of answers. Just stop shouting to hear them. So what is your choice in this time of revelation? This video isn't about giving ready-made answers, but about turning on a key of perception. The conversation can't stop here. It starts now, with you. Comment below. What did you feel when reflecting on these ideas? Is it skepticism, hope, and inner recognition? Your perspective, whatever it may be, is a vital piece of this puzzle. If this content resonated with you, give the video a like. This helps the algorithm connect this message to other people who are ready for this conversation. Activate the bell and subscribe to the channel. This is a layered journey, and much more will come to deepen these reflections. Share this video, but don't just share the link. Share it with a question. What if we're not alone? What changes for you? The most important discussion of our era shouldn't be confined to secret rooms or algorithms. It belongs to all of us. Silence is full of answers, but the community we are building here, exchanging ideas with respect and courage, is the fertile ground where the future can finally germinate. Thank you for taking the time to reflect with us. Until next time.